get involved in these fine organizations we've talked about. For Keith Granberry and myself, I'm Jim Longworth. We'll see you next week.
The preceding program was a paid commercial, which has been paid for by the advertiser whose products and/or services are featured in this program.
Go beyond the forecast. 200 meteorologists explain, experience, and enlighten you about the weather. Watch the National Weather Desk.
It's bow time. Bojangles' $5 after 5 p.m. two-piece dinner is here. We've got you covered with 2 pieces of our legendary chicken, a scratch-made biscuit, and choice of fixin'. Don't cook. Order the $5 after 5 dinner tonight. It's bow time.
Heard in a car wreck and got a small offer from a big insurance company?
You're gonna need big help. Call the heavy hitters.
We think so big that with our help, you'll get all the money you deserve.
And why go to court if you don't have to?
Tired of that big insurance company making you feel small? Oops, excuse me.
Call us, attorneys Tatum and Atkinson.
And get big help.
Who were those guys?
Only the heavy hitters are that big.
Call 800-LAW.
Call the heavy hitters. Call the heavy hitters.
Visit WestShoreBath.com for winter savings from West Shore Home. This week, get free installation on all bath remodels, plus 18 months of no-interest financing. Schedule now at WestShoreBath.com to lock in winter savings before they're gone.
Hey, good Saturday morning, everybody. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jonathan Wendt. You are watching an ABC 45 News winter weather update. On this Saturday morning, a winter storm warning remains in effect for the entire viewing area from now until tomorrow morning. Some pictures coming out from Wilkes County. You can see Tyler Dancy sending in some photos and Sadie Grace showing some snow falling across the area as well. You can still see temperatures are into the teens and low 20s with snow falling across the area. Our Doppler radar showing we've got some bands of heavier rain in Wilkes County, Allegheny, Surrey, Yadkin County towards Stokes and to Forsyth and Guilford County here. A little bit of a lull in the heavy precipitation down into Davidson County, into Montgomery, Randolph County. But just because you're not seeing it here on the radar doesn't mean that light snow is not falling. It's really hard for the radar to pick up on that. We've got some heavier bands moving back in across the Charlotte and upstate of South Carolina, and this will all pivot back off towards the north and east. One thing I've been watching is that dry slot, and we've actually seen the dry slot setting up just east of the Triad. Our upper level low back to the west, that is drawing in a lot of moisture, and our surface low is developing right now, and the counterclockwise flow with that is trying to drive in some of that drier air. But eventually, this piece of energy back to the west is going to transfer to the coastal low, and we're eventually going to see all snow across the Carolinas. So we're going to see it. If you're not seeing it right now, we've already had about a half an inch to an inch of snow accumulations across much of the Triad areas this morning. And this is going to be lasting from morning all the way into the evening and probably not tapering off until sometime around 7, 8, 9 o'clock. And we will see maybe even still some lingering flurries or light snow showers scattered about through midnight. And then eventually it just turns very cold. As far as snowfall accumulations go, general thinking is about 4 to 6 inches across the Triad, and lighter blue would be 2 to 4 inches. And I did kind of taper off some of the snow further off towards the east where that dry slot is. Now, one of the other things key to this forecast is the strong winds. Right now we've got winds gusting into the 20s, and we could see winds gusting between about 25 to 35 miles per hour through the day. With this dry, fluffy snow, this is going to create kind of visibilities to be reduced, some blowing snow that we don't typically see with our snowstorms. And not only that, but it's going to make it feel even colder. Right now, the current wind chill, it feels like 3 degrees in Greensboro, feeling more like 5 in Winston-Salem. And you can see Yadkinville, the feel-like temperature is at 6 degrees. So as we go throughout the rest of the morning into the afternoon, actual temperatures into the upper teens, but the feel-like temperatures into the single digits. And that is just going to be some dangerous cold. If you're going to be out and about playing in the snow today, just make sure that you're dressing in layers, dress those kiddos in layers, try to cover all exposed skin. An extreme cold warning in effect for most of our area, an extreme cold advisory for places like Caswell, Rockingham, and Stokes County. The current feel-like temperatures into the single digits, and notice here the wind chill readings, which is the feel-like temperatures when you factor in the actual temperatures and the wind combined. So single digits throughout the afternoon, and then it goes down even more. Bitterly and dangerous cold tomorrow morning, feeling between 0 to -5, and eventually the feel-like temperatures climbing back into the upper teens and low 20s. So tomorrow, if you're going to be out and about, I would wait a little bit until that extreme cold kind of warms up a little bit. Road conditions are starting to get dicey, and eventually by later on this afternoon into tomorrow, we're going to have some very treacherous road conditions. So if you don't have to be on the roads today, try to stay indoors. It's a snow day, it's a weekend. There shouldn't be any reason that you should be on the roads. Just kind of sit at home and enjoy it, play outside with your kiddos. Not really too worried about power outages. There could be some isolated issues with some of the wind gusts, but nothing to do with the snow because this is all a snow event. We're not worried about any ice with this system. Now, the extreme cold, dress in layers today, dangerous cold tomorrow morning, and then by the afternoon, slowly warming up a little bit. So just again, dress in layers if you're going to be outside. So very high impacts, a significant winter storm today and tomorrow. Today's the snow. Today and tomorrow is the cold, and what we're watching for is a potential dry slot with the moisture, but overall I think we're going to have some bands of heavier precipitation, and I don't think anyone's going to be disappointed. Give or take an inch or two where we see some lighter bands, and then versus where we see some of the heavier bands. Overnight temperatures into the teens, low 30s tomorrow, and eventually we'll see the sunshine and warming into the upper 30s for Monday. Of course, I'll have another update at the top of the hour, but until then, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jonathan Wendt. Now back to regular programming.